Tonight, the jungle feels like it's listening to itself. Moonlight rests in thin layers across the canopy, the way a soft blanket settles without being asked. Somewhere below, quiet water slides around roots and stones, smoothing every edge it touches. A little fog drifts between trunks, unhurried and almost polite, as if it doesn't want to disturb the leaves. Even the grass seems to slow down, each blade holding still for a moment, then swaying again, like a gentle breath you don't have to think about. In the distance, insects stitch the night together with a steady, peaceful rhythm. Not loud, not demanding, just present, just constant, like the world's simplest lullaby. And if you've had a long day or a busy mind, you don't have to solve anything here. You don't have to chase your thoughts into neat little rows. In this place, it's enough to arrive and let the wild do what it does best, move slowly and make room for rest. Honestly, even the trees look like they're practicing deep breathing, and they're doing a very convincing job of it. Welcome to Sleepy Nature Sleep, where the wild grows soft and curiosity becomes calm. Tonight, let your thoughts follow the rhythm of the earth, your breathing settle like evening wind, and your mind wander gently through the quiet wild. If this place feels peaceful, you're always welcome back, like a quiet campfire you can return to whenever the world feels a little too bright. No membership card required, only your presence, only this moment, exactly as it is. And if you'd like to support the channel, it helps us keep the nightlights low and the nature facts cozy, so we can continue building a calm corner of the wild, one soft story at a time. Now, as the fog drifts and the leaves settle into their night positions, let's glide into tonight's gentle topic. Somewhere up in the canopy, where branches form slow pathways across the sky, there's an animal that seems perfectly designed for this kind of evening. An animal that doesn't rush, doesn't fuss, doesn't argue with time. The sloth. A quiet resident of the treetops, moving as if the whole world is made of warm water and soft air. In the rainforest, where life can be bright and busy during the day, the sloth offers another way to exist, one built on calm routines, gentle rhythms, and the simple wisdom of conserving energy. So let your attention float upward now, into the shaded greens and silvered moonlight of the jungle canopy. We're going to follow the slow life of sloths, softly, patiently, until your thoughts grow quieter, your breathing grows easier, and sleep begins to feel less like something you reach for, and more like something that naturally arrives. In the rainforest, questions don't arrive like sharp knocks at the door. They arrive the way mist arrives, softly, quietly, almost like a suggestion. A question can drift in between leaf shadows, settle for a moment on the surface of a slow river, and then float onward again, unbothered by whether it is answered right away. So tonight, as we rest beneath the canopy, let's hold one gentle question. Nothing complicated, nothing cosmic, just something the forest might wonder in its own quiet way. What does the rainforest reward when a life moves slowly? Not with medals, of course. The jungle doesn't hand out certificates. It doesn't clap. It simply continues. Warm air, green light, steady rain, offering its small gifts to those who fit its rhythm. Maybe the rainforest rewards patience, because patience here isn't a personality trait. It's a practical softness. Leaves take their time. Vines take their time. Even the light takes its time, filtering through layers like a slow pour of honey. Or maybe it rewards presence. Not the kind that tries hard, not the kind that performs. Just the quiet presence of being exactly where you are, on a branch in a pocket of shade, in a moment that doesn't need improvement. And maybe, in its own way, the rainforest rewards efficiency. Not fast efficiency, not busy efficiency. The kind that whispers, conserve what you can. Spend only what you need. Keep your movements small, your energy steady, your life balanced like a leaf floating on calm water. This is where sloths come into the story. Sloths don't try to win the day. They don't chase the hour. They don't hurry to prove they're alive. They simply live, slowly, carefully, as if time is something you can befriend instead of something you have to outrun. And that's part of what makes them feel so comforting to watch. Like a reminder that a quiet life can still be a complete life. If your mind is busy tonight, you don't have to make it stop. Just let it soften around the question. Let the question sit beside you like a warm cup in your hands. What does the rainforest reward when a life moves slowly? Perhaps it rewards steadiness. Perhaps it rewards belonging. Perhaps it rewards the calm courage of not rushing. And if you notice your thoughts wandering away, that's perfectly fine. The forest doesn't mind. It wanders too. Through seasons, through rainfall, through moonlit nights like this one. For now, we'll carry the question forward, lightly, gently, like a leaf carried on quiet water. As we drift deeper into the sloth's world, where unhurried living isn't an exception. It's the whole design. Before we meet the sloth up close, it helps to feel the world that holds it. A rainforest is not just a collection of trees. It's a layered atmosphere, like a living cathedral made of leaves, shadow, and warm air. Down low, the ground is dark and soft, padded with fallen leaves and the slow work of decay, turning old stories into new soil. Up high, the canopy forms a ceiling of green, where moonlight sifts through in thin silver patches. And in between, everything breathes. Moisture rests on bark. Droplets cling to vines. The air itself feels thick, as if it's holding the day's warmth and rocking it gently into night. You can imagine the sounds as well, never truly silent, but rarely demanding. Insects create a steady weave of tiny tones. A frog calls now and then, not as an alarm, more like a simple statement, I'm here. Somewhere, water moves, sometimes in a stream, sometimes as drip and trickle, leaf to leaf, taking its time. And this is important. The rainforest runs on rhythm. Not the sharp rhythm of schedules, but the soft rhythm of cycles. Rainfall arriving, humidity rising, light shifting, temperature easing. The jungle doesn't flip switches. It fades from one mood into another, the way you might drift from waking into sleep. For sloths, this world offers certain rules, gentle ones. Food is leafy and leaves are not quick fuel. They are steady fuel. Shelter is everywhere. But it's mostly above the ground, branches, forks, and trees, shaded pockets where an animal can rest without needing a formal home. And movement, when it happens, is best kept calm and economical. In a place where warmth is constant and greenery is abundant, there's no need to rush through space just to find the next thing. The rainforest provides, and sloths respond by living like a quiet answer. If you're picturing the jungle as a busy place, that's understandable. It can be lively in daylight, but at night, it often feels like it's exhaling. The greens turn deeper, the air turns softer. The whole world seems to lower its voice. Even the river, if there is one nearby, doesn't rush. It isn't trying to impress anyone. It simply keeps going, smoothing stones, carrying reflections, moving as gently as it can. And that is the mood we'll keep tonight. Not a lecture, not a rush of facts, just a slow tour of a world where slowness makes sense, where patience is practical and resting is part of the design. Now, with that feeling in mind, let's lift our attention upward into the canopy's dim protective shade and meet one of its quietest residents. At first, you might not see the sloth. That's part of the charm. In the canopy, a sloth doesn't announce itself. It doesn't flash bright color. It doesn't demand attention. It simply blends into the story the trees are already telling. Look for a shape that feels like a pause, a gentle curve along a branch, a bundle of fur that matches the bark's muted tones, a presence that seems almost like a piece of the forest taking a nap mid-sentence. And then, slowly, you notice the details. The long limbs, draped like soft ribbons, the calm face, with eyes that seem half dreaming even when open. The body positioned in a way that looks less like hanging on and more like resting in place, as if gravity is just another lullaby the rainforest hums. Sloths are built for an unhurried life. Their muscles and movement patterns are designed around conserving energy. That doesn't mean they can't move. It means they prefer to move only when it feels necessary, and even then, with a measured gentleness. A sloth doesn't spend energy like loose change. It spends energy like a careful savings account. In the canopy, this makes perfect sense. The branches are highways, but they don't need fast traffic. Leaves are plentiful, but they don't need frantic gathering. Shade is abundant and the air is warm, so the sloth can settle into stillness without discomfort. A sloth's stillness also becomes a kind of camouflage. When you don't move much, you don't draw much attention. When you move slowly, you appear less like an animal and more like a quiet part of the canopy itself, just another gentle shape among many gentle shapes. And as you watch, you might notice something else. Sloth life feels less like doing and more like being. There's a softness to it, a permission. If your own mind tends to sprint ahead, into tomorrow, into lists, into plans, this is where the forest offers you a different example. Not a command, not a lesson, just an example, hanging quietly in the leaves. You can let your thoughts slow down too, not by force, not by effort, just by watching something that doesn't rush and realizing you don't have to rush either. Somewhere above, the canopy shifts slightly as a breeze moves through. Leaves tremble, then settle. The sloth remains as calm as the branch itself, as if it trusts the forest to hold it. And perhaps that is the first gentle secret of sloths. They live as though the world is safe enough to move slowly. For now, let your breath do the same. Slow, steady, unhurried. The canopy is a world that floats, not in a dramatic way, just in a steady, subtle way, as if everything up here is suspended in a long, gentle breath. Branches reach outward like calm arms. Vines loop and drape like quiet ropes. Leaves overlap in soft layers, creating shade upon shade, until the light becomes a green-tinted whisper. For animals who live here, the canopy is not a backdrop. It's home. It's shelter. It's pantry. It's the place where life happens in small, careful motions. And for sloths, the canopy is perfectly matched to their style of living. They don't need to travel far to find what they need. Often, the branch they are on offers leaves close enough to reach with minimal effort. Nearby branches provide the next resting place. The canopy becomes a slow neighborhood, familiar, consistent, and gently repetitive. If you imagine the forest floor as below, the canopy is a kind of above that feels protective, like a ceiling that keeps the world soft and dim. In moonlight, the treetops can look like an ocean of leaves, and the sloth is like a small, drifting island, still, quiet, and entirely unbothered by the idea that it should be somewhere else. A sloth's relationship with the canopy is also tactile. There's the texture of bark under claws, the slight flex of a branch when weight shifts, the coolness of shade compared to the warmth of a patch of filtered light. Even without rushing, a sloth receives constant information, soft signals from its environment, like a calm conversation that never raises its voice. The canopy itself participates in slowness. Leaves grow gradually, branches thicken over time. Moss settles in where moisture lingers. The whole place feels like a reminder that nature is often patient by default. And if you listen closely, you can hear the canopy moving. Not big movement, just tiny adjustments. A leaf turning, a vine swaying, the sound of water dripping from somewhere higher, landing with a small, soft tap on a lower leaf, then sliding off and continuing downward. It's a layered lullaby made of little motions that repeat and repeat. Somewhere in this floating world, a sloth rests. It doesn't need a nest built from urgency. It doesn't need walls. It simply chooses a place that feels stable and shaded, and then lets its body soften into that choice. If there's any humor in it, it's the gentle kind. The canopy is full of pathways, and the sloth has absolutely no interest in being early. And that's fine, because in this treetop world, time isn't a race. It's a slow, green atmosphere, and tonight, we get to breathe inside it. Sloths are often described as slow, and that's true. But the deeper truth is quieter. Sloths are designed for enough movement, enough energy, enough food, enough rest. They don't live as if more is always better. They live as if balance is better. And in the rainforest, balance is a kind of wisdom. One reason for their pace is the kind of food they rely on. Leaves are available, but they are not quick energy. Leaves offer nourishment slowly, like a steady drizzle rather than a sudden rainstorm. And so the sloth's body responds with a metabolism that is unhurried, processing food over time, stretching energy out as gently as possible. It's not a flaw, it's a fit. The sloth becomes a living example of efficiency that doesn't look busy. There's also the shape of the sloth's body, long limbs suited to reaching and hanging, and a structure that supports a life spent in the trees. Their curved claws act like natural hooks, helping them remain secure on branches without constant muscular effort. That is one of the loveliest details. A sloth can rest without struggling. It can hang in a way that looks comfortable, like a person settling into a hammock that knows exactly how to hold them. And because energy is precious in a leaf-based lifestyle, sloths tend to move only when it feels useful, reaching for a new cluster of leaves, shifting toward a better pocket of shade, adjusting position to stay comfortable. A small movement, then a long pause. A gentle reach, then stillness again. If you watch closely, even those movements look calm. The sloth doesn't fling itself from branch to branch. It transitions. It drifts. It changes position the way a cloud changes shape, slowly enough that you almost don't notice until it's already happened. And the rainforest accepts this pace. The canopy doesn't demand speed. It offers patience. It offers shade. It offers the steady green abundance that lets an animal survive without frantic effort. There's a subtle message here if you want it, and if you don't, that's fine too. The message is simply that slowness can be functional. Slowness can be skilled. Slowness can be a beautiful match between a body and a world. If your day has asked you to move quickly, through tasks, through messages, through bright screens, consider this a different kind of invitation. Let your breath take its time. Let your shoulders loosen. Let your thoughts become less sharp at the edges. In the sloth's world, the goal is not to do everything. The goal is to do what is needed, gently, and then rest. And as the canopy sways in a soft breeze above us, we can practice that too, doing less, holding less, and letting the night carry the weight for a while. Up in the canopy, feeding can look like a quiet ritual. Not a chase, not a scramble. More like a slow conversation between a sloth and the leaves it lives among. A sloth doesn't approach food with urgency. It doesn't rush to gather. It simply reaches patiently, carefully, toward what is nearest and suitable. A small shift of the body, a long pause, a gentle extension of an arm that seems to float rather than swing. And then, a leaf. Not every leaf, of course. Sloths tend to be selective, choosing certain leaves that offer the best fit for their slow digestion and steady energy needs. It's a quiet kind of discernment, like choosing the most comfortable pillow or the warmest corner of a blanket. The act itself is calm. The sloth holds the leaf, brings it close, and begins to eat in a way that feels almost meditative. There's no rush to finish, no urgency to move on. Just the steady rhythm of chewing, the soft sound of leaf matter folding into the sloth's slow life. In the rainforest, where everything is layered and abundant, this makes sense. Food isn't scarce in the way it might be in drier places. The canopy offers leaves again and again, and because the sloth's body is built to conserve energy, the sloth doesn't need to gather more than it can use. It takes what it needs, and then it rests. If you listen closely, the whole scene has its own soundtrack. Insects continue their gentle chorus. A drop of water slips from one leaf to another. A breeze moves through the canopy like a soft hand smoothing a bedspread. And the sloth continues, slowly, steadily, turning nourishment into calm. There's something soothing about watching a creature that doesn't eat as if time is running out. Because sometimes we eat the way we live, quickly, distractedly, with our minds elsewhere. But the sloth seems to eat exactly where it is. No multitasking, no urgency, just presence. If you find your own thoughts drifting, you can let them. And if you'd like, you can borrow a sloth's rhythm for a moment. Inhale slowly. Exhale softly. Let your body be fed by the simple act of breathing. The sloth has no interest in impressing anyone. It isn't trying to optimize. It isn't trying to become a better version of itself by Tuesday. It's simply taking in what the forest offers and trusting that it is enough. And in a night like this, with moonlight in the leaves and fog drifting quietly below, that feels like a gentle reminder. You don't have to hurry your way into rest. Rest arrives when you allow yourself to be unhurried. A sloth's digestion is often described as slow, and that word, slow, doesn't quite capture how deeply it shapes the sloth's whole way of being. Because digestion isn't just something that happens after a meal. For a sloth, digestion is a rhythm, a long, steady background hum, a quiet internal tide that rises and falls without being noticed. Leaves are not quick fuel. They are sturdy, fibrous, and meant to be processed patiently. And the sloth's body meets them with patience in return, breaking them down gradually, drawing out energy over time, stretching nourishment into a calm, continuous supply. It's as if the sloth lives on a different kind of clock, not minutes and hours, more like gentle phases, a phase of eating, a phase of resting, a phase of moving a little, a phase of resting again. All of it supported by an internal system that never asks the sloth to rush. In the canopy, this is an elegant match. A fast metabolism would demand frequent, frantic feeding, but the sloth's slow metabolism asks for less. It allows a quiet routine. It allows long stillness without strain. And that stillness becomes a kind of peace you can almost feel through the air. Sometimes, when humans hear slow digestion, they imagine discomfort. But in the sloth's world, it's simply the normal pace of life, like a river that doesn't need to be fast to be strong. The sloth's body doesn't panic if the day feels quiet. It's built for quiet. It's built for steady. If you've had a day where everything felt sped up, messages, tasks, bright screens, quick decisions, this is a very different story. This story says, you can be sustained without sprinting. You can continue without pushing. You can be alive in a way that feels like floating. And notice too, how this internal rhythm mirrors the rainforest itself. The forest doesn't grow overnight. It grows slowly. It layers itself over time, leaf by leaf, ring by ring, root by root. Rain falls repeatedly, not once. Mist returns again and again. The jungle is patient, and the sloth is patient right along with it. If you'd like, imagine your own body settling into a slower rhythm now, not changing everything, not forcing anything, just easing. Let your stomach relax, let your jaw soften, let your breathing become the only task you have, and even that can be effortless. Inhale and feel the air arrive. Exhale and feel yourself release. Somewhere above, a sloth rests with its digestion quietly doing its work, like a lullaby sung from the inside. And perhaps that's the gentle lesson, offered without insistence. The slow processes are still progress. The quiet rhythms are still life. And tonight, you are allowed to move at the pace of rest. If you look closely at a sloth, you may notice something that feels almost like a secret. Its fur is not just fur, it's a small habitat. In the damp, humid air of the rainforest, sloth fur can host tiny life, most famously a gentle green tint that comes from algae. This isn't paint, it isn't decoration. It's simply what happens when an animal lives slowly in a moist world where nature loves to settle in and make itself at home. The algae adds a soft camouflage, helping the sloth blend into the canopy's mossy greens and shaded browns. And in return, the sloth provides a place to live, warm, textured, and often quiet enough for small organisms to linger without being shaken away. It's an ecosystem within an ecosystem. A little reminder that in the rainforest, nothing truly lives alone. The sloth moves slowly, and because it moves slowly, other life can exist on it without being disrupted. That's a very different kind of relationship with the world, one based not on chasing and conquering, but on allowing and hosting. If you imagine the rainforest as a city of green, the sloth is like a peaceful apartment building with a few gentle roommates. No loud parties, no sudden renovations, just quiet tenancy. And there can be more than algae too. Tiny insects may spend time in sloth fur, finding shelter in the strands the way small creatures find shelter in leaf litter or bark crevices. Again, it's not presented like a dramatic story. It's just nature doing what nature does, filling spaces, using opportunities, layering life. This kind of quiet cooperation is everywhere in the rainforest. Vines lean on trees, moss softens bark, epiphytes perch in branches, fungi and roots trade nutrients in the soil, and in a small, sleepy way, the sloth participates in that same pattern, its body becoming part of the landscape. There's something deeply calming about that idea, not because you need to be useful the way a sloth is useful, not because you need to host an entire micro-world on your sweater, but because it suggests a gentler truth. When you slow down, the world becomes softer around you. When you stop thrashing through time, you begin to belong to your surroundings again. You notice more, you breathe more, you become less separate. In the moonlit canopy, the sloth rests. Its fur carries a hint of green, like a quiet nod to the forest. And the forest, in return, seems to accept the sloth as just another piece of itself, another texture among many textures, another calm shape among many calm shapes. If your mind has been busy tonight, imagine it like that too. Not fighting your thoughts, not scrubbing them clean, just letting them settle, soften and blend into the background, like algae on fur, like mist on leaves, like night air resting on the canopy. Camouflage is often described as hiding, but in the rainforest, camouflage can feel more like belonging, because to blend in here is not to disappear out of fear. It is to become part of the pattern. A sloth does this beautifully, not with a sudden trick, not with flashy change, but with a steady quiet that makes it easy to overlook. Its fur takes on the forest's tones. Its shape follows the curve of branches. And its movements are so slow they can be mistaken for the shifting of leaves in a breeze. If you've ever stared at a tree trunk and only later realized there was a lizard pressed against it, you understand the feeling. The forest is full of subtle surprises, and the sloth is one of the gentlest. One reason camouflage works so well for sloths is that they do not give the eye much to follow. Fast movement catches attention. Quick changes signal something is happening. But sloths move in a way that barely interrupts the scene. They're like a pause in the canopy, so quiet the forest doesn't need to react. And because their lives revolve around conserving energy, their stillness serves two purposes at once: saving fuel and remaining unnoticed. It's efficient and oddly peaceful. In the canopy, this means the sloth can spend long stretches resting or feeding without drawing focus. It isn't shouting its presence. It's simply existing among leaves, like a soft note held in a song. If we widen our attention, we can see how this kind of belonging happens everywhere in the rainforest. Moths rest on bark with wings that resemble lichen. Frogs sit on leaves like green droplets. Insects become twigs. The jungle is filled with beings who look like the places they live, as if the world has gently shaped them over time to match its textures, and the sloth fits right in. There's a quiet comfort in that idea, an animal that doesn't have to stand out to succeed, an animal that survives by blending, by slowing, by moving with careful softness. Sometimes in human life, it can feel like we're expected to be loud, quick, noticeable, like attention is oxygen. But the rainforest offers another model. Here, quiet works. Here, subtlety works. Here, you can be safe without being in a hurry to prove yourself. So as you listen, you can let that sink into your body the way warm air sinks into the canopy. You don't need to stand out tonight. You don't need to perform your wakefulness. You can simply soften. Imagine the sloth in a pocket of shade, barely distinguishable from the branch it rests on. The air is humid and calm. The leaves sway slightly, like slow fans. Moonlight filters through in thin strips, and the sloth remains, not trying, not rushing, just belonging. Let your breathing do the same. Blend into the night, slow and steady, until your thoughts become as quiet as a camouflaged shape in the leaves. Rain in the rainforest isn't always a storm. Often, it's simply part of the atmosphere, like the forest's way of keeping itself soft. In the night, you might hear it as a gentle layering of sounds, a drip from one leaf to another, a slow trickle down bark, a quiet patter where droplets find open space and land on the canopy below. Even when it's steady, it rarely feels aggressive. It feels like the jungle is washing its own hands, again and again, in a calm and patient ritual. And up in the trees, sloths meet this rainfall with the same temperament they meet everything else. Unhurried, unbothered, still. Their fur can hold moisture, and their bodies are well adapted to a life spent in a damp world. The sloth doesn't react to rain as an emergency. It doesn't scramble for cover with frantic urgency. It simply remains in place, letting the forest do what it does. Sometimes, the canopy itself becomes the shelter. Leaves overlap like shingles. Branches create layers of protection. The sloth, already tucked into shaded pockets and gentle angles, often finds that it's sheltered simply by being where it naturally prefers to be. And if a few droplets reach it anyway, well, in a rainforest, droplets are as normal as breath. The air is humid, the night is moist, the whole world seems to glisten. In this setting, the sloth's stillness feels even more fitting. Because rain is a kind of slow motion too. It falls in countless small pieces, each droplet doing its quiet work, feeding roots, cooling leaves, washing dust from bark, leaving everything a little cleaner, a little softer. If you've ever sat indoors and listened to rain, you know the feeling it can bring, the way it turns the world into a more private place, the way it smooths sharp edges, the way it seems to give permission for rest. The rainforest is like that, but all around you. The rain doesn't demand a response, it simply continues, and the sloth, hanging calmly from a branch, seems to embody the same message. Nothing has to be hurried, nothing has to be forced. There's a faint tenderness in imagining it. A sloth resting with rain humming nearby, while insects continue their steady chorus as if this is the most normal thing in the world, which for them it is. If your thoughts are busy tonight, you can let them become like rain too. Not sharp, not fast, just small droplets arriving and passing, until the mind becomes less crowded and more open. Inhale, as gently as the forest draws in warm air. Exhale, as softly as rain releases from a leaf tip. Somewhere in the canopy, the sloth remains steady through the rain, as if it trusts the night to keep going without its help. And you can trust that too. You can let the night carry itself. You can rest inside it. If you were to hold a single sloth claw in your imagination, just its shape, its curve, you might be surprised by how gentle it feels. Not gentle in the sense of softness, but gentle in the sense of purpose. A sloth's claws are curved like quiet hooks, designed not for rushing, but for resting. They wrap around branches in a way that makes the whole body feel supported, as if the sloth is being held rather than having to hold on. And that difference matters, because in many animals, staying secure requires constant effort, muscles always engaged, readiness always present. But the sloth is built for steadiness. Its grip is a kind of calm architecture, allowing it to remain in place without exhausting itself. In the canopy, this becomes a small miracle of comfort. A branch becomes a hammock. A fork in a tree becomes an armchair. A shaded stretch of bark becomes a bed with a view of leaves and moonlight. And when the breeze moves through, making the canopy sway in slow waves, the sloth sways with it, secure, composed, unhurried. You can imagine the sensation. The air is warm, the branch is steady, the world moves, but you don't have to. Sometimes sloths are shown in photos hanging upside down, and to a human mind, that looks like effort. But for the sloth, this position can be restful, an easy way to conserve energy, an alignment their body understands. It's not a stunt, it's a lifestyle. And if you've spent your day holding on in a different way, holding on to responsibilities, holding on to schedules, holding on to the feeling that you need to stay alert, then the sloth offers you a quieter example. There is a way to be supported. There is a way to settle into what holds you. For a moment, let your shoulders feel heavier in a good way. Let your jaw soften. Let your hands relax, even if they've been tense without you noticing. Imagine that same curved claw certainty translated into your own body as a kind of inner support, like your breath is the branch and you are allowed to rest on it. Inhale and feel the branch beneath you. Exhale and let yourself hang gently into calm. Above, the canopy continues its soft motions, leaves turning, mist drifting, water dripping from one layer to another. And the sloth remains secure, not by effort, but by design. A life held by curved claws, a night held by quiet rhythms, and you, held by the simple fact that you don't have to do anything right now except rest. There's a particular kind of movement that happens in the canopy, so slow it can feel like you're watching time itself stretch. A sloth reaches for a new hold, and the gesture is not sudden. It is deliberate, almost ceremonial. The arm extends in a smooth arc, as if the air is thick and friendly, like warm water. First, there is stillness, then a small shift of weight, then the slow reach, claw opening slightly, then closing again around bark, and after that, stillness returns, as if the movement was a single sentence spoken quietly, and now the forest is pausing to listen. This kind of motion is economical. It spends exactly the energy required and no more. It is careful without being anxious, steady without being stiff, and it turns the simple act of changing position into something that feels almost meditative. In the human world, we often move quickly without noticing our own bodies. We stand, we sit, we turn, we reach on autopilot as if speed is the default setting. But the sloth makes even the smallest action feel like an experience rather than a task. A sloth doesn't get through a movement. It lives inside it. And if you allow yourself to watch that, really watch it, your own breathing often slows in response, as if your nervous system recognizes the pattern and quietly says, "Oh, we can do that too." So tonight, you can borrow this pace, not as a rule, not as a performance, just as a gentle option. Imagine your breath moving the way the sloth moves. Inhale, slowly reaching in. Pause, settling into the hold. Exhale, releasing and returning to stillness. Sometimes the sloth's slow motion is described with jokes, and there is room for a faint smile here. If the rainforest ever hosted a fastest reach competition, the sloth would not attend, not out of protest, just out of disinterest. The sloth is not here to race, it is here to belong, and the canopy welcomes that. Leaves continue their quiet swaying. Insects keep stitching the night together. Water continues its soft, downward travels through layers of green. The sloth reaches once and then rests again. It is a reminder that movement does not have to be constant. It can be occasional. It can be slow. It can be followed by deep, uncomplicated rest. If your mind keeps reaching for the next thought, the next plan, the next little worry, you can let it reach more slowly now, so slowly that the thought doesn't even fully form before it drifts away again, like a hand that extends, then decides it's comfortable where it is. And just like that, stillness returns. In the rainforest, shade is not just a lack of light. Shade is a landscape. It has depth. It has texture. It has cool pockets and warmer edges. It shifts gradually as the day fades and the night settles in. And in the canopy, shade can feel like a soft room that slowly rearranges its furniture. Sloths live with an easy awareness of this. They don't chase sunlight the way some animals do, and they don't hurry away from it either. They simply choose comfort, often resting in places where leaves create a gentle cover, where the air feels slightly cooler, where the branch holds steady and the world feels dim and safe. Their lives are often measured in shade, not in minutes, not in deadlines, in shade, in the comfort of being tucked away, partially hidden, surrounded by green, where the temperature and the light are always softly moderated by the forest itself. This is one of the rainforest's quiet gifts. The canopy is layered. Even moonlight arrives filtered, softened by leaf upon leaf, until it becomes a faint silver-green glow rather than a harsh beam. The darkness is never empty. It is full of shapes and gentle motion, and the sloth, resting in that filtered world, seems to match the atmosphere perfectly, like an animal designed to live inside a dim lullaby. You might imagine how it feels for the sloth as the night deepens. The air cools slightly. The breeze becomes a little more noticeable. The soundscape shifts, with insects and frogs taking turns like quiet musicians in a slow orchestra. The sloth remains composed. It doesn't need to reposition frequently because it has already chosen a place that feels right. A shaded fork in a tree, a branch that curves in a supportive way, a spot where the canopy above is thick enough to feel protective. And if the forest is offering a lesson here, it is a gentle one. You don't have to keep searching for the perfect moment to rest. You can choose a patch of shade, physically, emotionally, mentally, and let it be enough. Tonight, your patch of shade might be your bed, your blanket, the simple dimness of your room, the sound of your own breath. Let your mind find a place to settle the way a sloth settles, without overthinking it. Inhale and feel yourself step into the shade. Exhale and let the shade hold you. If thoughts appear, they can drift past like leaf shadows. If the day tries to return, you can let it remain outside the canopy, somewhere distant, softened and blurred. In the rainforest, shade is a kind of shelter that doesn't require walls. And in the sloth's world, that shelter is enough to build a life around. A life that fits the night. A life that moves only when it needs to. And a life that rests calmly in the gentle comfort of dim green quiet. The rainforest at night has a way of filling silence without disturbing it. It's never truly quiet, but it rarely feels loud. Instead, it becomes a soft tapestry of sound, layers of small voices that rise and fall, like breathing. Insects form the steady base, a gentle shimmer of tiny notes that seem to glow in the dark. Frogs call now and then, spaced out as if they've agreed not to interrupt each other too much. Somewhere, water moves, dripping, trickling, sliding along leaves, always on its slow journey downward. And in the canopy, these sounds arrive as a kind of surround sound calm. They don't ask for your attention. They simply exist. For sloths, this soundscape is part of home. They live in a world where hearing the forest is normal, where the night's noises are not warnings but background rhythm, the way you might hear a fan in a quiet room or distant rain on a roof. A sloth doesn't need to interpret every sound as a problem to solve. It can listen without reacting, and that too is a kind of peace. If you imagine a sloth resting on a branch, its body still, its breathing slow, you can picture it being surrounded by these gentle sounds, not startled, not tense, just held in the forest's steady music. Sometimes we forget that listening can be relaxing when we stop trying to understand every sound. Tonight, you can listen the way a sloth listens, letting the sounds be there without turning them into tasks. Let the insect chorus be like a soft blanket for your mind. Let the occasional frog call be like a small bell that reminds you, you are here, and the night continues calmly. Let the water sounds be like a slow metronome that keeps time without hurrying it. And if your thoughts are loud, you don't have to fight them. Just let them become another layer, present, then fading, present, then fading, like a sound in the distance that you don't need to chase. Inhale, and let the night sound enter gently. Exhale, and let your mind soften around it. There's a faint humor tucked into this if you want it. The rainforest runs a full orchestra every night, and no one sells tickets. The forest simply performs for itself. And the sloth, ever unbothered, takes the best seat in the house without moving much at all. As you listen, you may notice your body responding in small ways. Your shoulders lower a fraction. Your eyelids feel heavier. Your breathing finds a slower groove. This is the rainforest's quiet talent. It doesn't demand rest, but it invites it. And the sloth, resting in the canopy, seems to accept that invitation easily. Eyes half-lidded, body relaxed, held by branch and night air alike. If you need permission to rest, consider it given. The forest is singing softly. The sloth is listening, and you can simply drift along with them. In the sloth's world, there is more than one way to be slow. There are different sloths, two-toed sloths and three-toed sloths, each with their own gentle variations, like two quiet melodies played in the same key. To a casual glance, they can look similar. Shaggy fur, calm faces, long limbs made for the canopy. But in their details, they tell slightly different stories. Three-toed sloths tend to be the ones many people picture first, often with a softer, almost dreamy expression, and a life that leans heavily into stillness. Two-toed sloths, while still wonderfully unhurried, can sometimes be a little more active in their own slow way, moving with slightly different rhythms, exploring in a manner that still feels calm, but perhaps a touch more curious. This isn't a competition. It's simply variety. Nature rarely writes only one draft. And the rainforest is spacious enough for multiple versions of slow to coexist. If you imagine the canopy as a neighborhood, then two-toed and three-toed sloths are like neighbors with different bedtime routines. One might prefer an earlier, longer wind down. The other might wander a bit more before settling. Both end up in the same place: rest. Both live by conserving energy, by moving carefully, by making the most of leafy meals and shaded comfort. Both fit into the rainforest's steady cycle of warmth, moisture, and filtered light. And noticing these differences can be soothing, because it suggests something quietly reassuring. Even in nature, there's no single correct way to be calm. There are styles of calm. There are shapes of rest. There are different rhythms that still lead to the same softness. If your own life has taught you to compare your pace against someone else's pace, your productivity against someone else's day, then the sloths offer a kinder perspective. Here, difference is normal. Here, being a little more active or a little more still can both be successful, as long as you remain in harmony with your environment. In the canopy tonight, you can imagine both kinds of sloths, two-toed and three-toed, resting in their chosen branches, each perfectly content in their own version of quiet. The leaves sway, the night air drifts, the soundscape continues, and both sloths, in their own way, belong. There's a faint smile in it too. The rainforest holds countless species, countless strategies, and somewhere in that vast diversity are two animals famous for doing very little, in slightly different ways. The forest, ever polite, allows them both. As you settle towards sleep, you can allow yourself the same kindness. You don't need to rest in a perfect way. You don't need to follow a strict script. You only need to find a rhythm that feels supportive, like a branch that holds you without effort. Inhale and find your pace. Exhale and let that pace be enough. In the sloth's world, there is room for gentle variety. And tonight, there is room for you to rest exactly as you are. There is a kind of rest that doesn't look like rest, at least, not to a busy mind. It looks like doing nothing. It looks like stillness held for a long time. It looks like an animal suspended in the canopy, as if it has gently forgotten the concept of hurry. And for a sloth, this is not an accident. This is the plan. Sloths spend much of their time resting, and that resting is not empty. It is purposeful quiet. It is the body choosing to conserve energy, to stay balanced, to remain in harmony with the slow fuel of leaves and the soft rhythms of the rainforest. In the canopy at night, you can imagine a sloth settled into a comfortable bend of branch. The air is warm. The darkness is layered, never harsh. The forest continues around it, frogs calling, insects humming, water slipping along leaves, while the sloth stays still, as if it trusts the world to keep moving without its help. That trust is soothing, because in human life, we often feel as if everything depends on our constant attention. If we stop, something might slip. If we rest, something might be missed. If we slow down, we might fall behind. But the sloth offers another possibility. The world can continue, and you can still soften. Rest can be a form of wisdom. Rest can be a way of living well. If you watch long enough, you may notice the sloth's resting is not rigid. It's not clenched. It's loose and natural, like a body that knows it belongs exactly where it is. There is no dramatic collapse. There is no sudden stop. There is simply settling, a gentle exhale into stillness. And perhaps that's why sloths feel so comforting in a sleep story. They don't force relaxation. They embody it. Tonight, you can take a small lesson from that without turning it into a rule. Let your face soften. Let your tongue rest in your mouth instead of pressing. Let your shoulders drop, even if only a little. Inhale, slowly. Exhale, as if you're letting go of a small weight you didn't realize you were holding. Somewhere above, the sloth remains in its quiet pose, and the canopy sways around it as if the forest is rocking the entire night to sleep. If your mind wanders, let it wander slowly. If a thought arrives, let it arrive like a leaf drifting down, gentle, unimportant, easy to release. And if you feel yourself slipping towards sleep, you don't have to hold on to the listening. You can rest the way the sloth rests, as if stillness is safe, as if time is kind, as if the night is doing the work for you. A sloth's world is not a world of long journeys. It is not a life spent crossing wide distances, chasing far-off places, or constantly searching for something new. Instead, many sloths live within a relatively small area, an unhurried loop of familiar branches, reliable leaves, and comfortable shade. You could call it a home range, but it feels more like a gentle neighborhood. A place where the paths are known, where the textures are familiar, where the canopy itself becomes a soft map made of memory. In a way, this is another form of calm efficiency. If food is available nearby and shelter is built into the trees, there is no need to spend energy traveling far. The sloth can live slowly, precisely because it lives locally, returning to certain trees, certain branches, certain pockets of comfort. There is a quiet sweetness in that. It suggests that enough can be small. That home does not always need to be large to feel complete. That familiarity can be a kind of safety. Imagine the canopy as a set of rooms. One room of thicker leaves where the air stays cooler. One room where moonlight filters through in soft stripes. One room where the branch curves just right for resting. The sloth moves between these rooms slowly, as needed, like someone wandering through a quiet house at night, unbothered by time. And because the sloth moves gently, it doesn't wear the canopy down. It doesn't disturb the neighborhood. It simply uses the space with a respectful softness, taking what it needs, leaving the rest as it was. If your own life has felt scattered lately, pulled between too many tasks, too many tabs, too many places your attention should be, this sloth-like simplicity can feel like a small relief, because it reminds you that the mind doesn't always need more. Sometimes the mind needs fewer corners, a smaller, gentler range, a place to return to again and again. Tonight, your home range can be very small. It can be the space within your blanket, the quiet rhythm of your breath, the simple sensation of your body supported by bed, by pillow, by stillness. Inhale and return to the familiar. Exhale and let yourself stay there. There's a faint humor here too, if you want it. Sloths do not believe in unnecessary commuting. Their daily travel can be a few careful reaches, and then an extended appreciation of staying put. It's a calm way to live. And as the canopy holds its quiet shapes above us, we can let that calm sink in. You don't have to go far tonight. You don't have to travel through your thoughts. You can let yourself remain close to what is safe and simple. Like a sloth in a familiar tree, you can rest in a small world that is already enough. The canopy may feel solitary at first. One branch, one animal, one patch of night. But if you linger with it, the rainforest reveals something gentle. It is full of neighbors. Not the loud kind, not the demanding kind, the quiet kind, creatures whose lives overlap softly, sharing the same space without needing to compete for attention. A sloth lives among these neighbors. It may not socialize the way some animals do, but it is still part of a living community. Birds move through the treetops, sometimes pausing nearby. Insects hum and drift, always present, always weaving the background music. Small tree dwellers appear and disappear in leaf shadows, and the plants themselves, vines, epiphytes, mosses, share the same branches, making the canopy feel like a layered neighborhood built from green. In this neighborhood, the sloth is like a quiet resident who keeps the lights low. It doesn't interrupt. It doesn't rush. It simply exists in a way that allows other lives to continue easily around it. Even the sloth's fur, as we've seen, can host small organisms, tiny partnerships that turn one animal into many small presences, all resting together in the humid air. If you widen your imagination, you can picture the canopy at night as a gently occupied space. A branch creaks softly as it sways. A leaf turns, catching a sliver of moonlight. A frog calls from somewhere below. A small insect passes by like a drifting spark, and somewhere in the middle of it, the sloth remains still, like a calm anchor in a moving world. This is what makes rainforest life feel so soothing when told slowly. It is interconnected without being chaotic. Everything is linked, but nothing needs to be frantic. The neighborhood runs on quiet agreements. Waterfalls, plants drink, insects sing, animals rest. If you've spent your day among human neighborhoods, messages arriving, expectations humming, noise from screens and schedules, this kind of natural community can feel like a deep exhale. It reminds you that togetherness doesn't have to be loud. That connection can be gentle. That being among others can still feel peaceful. Tonight, you can let that idea soften you too. You don't have to do anything to belong here. You don't have to earn your place in the quiet. Like the sloth in the canopy, you can simply be present, resting inside a world that continues kindly around you. Inhale and feel the sense of being held by something larger. Exhale and let yourself be one quiet piece of the whole. And if a small thought drifts through your mind, let it be like a neighbor passing by, noticed, then allowed to continue on without conversation. The canopy neighborhood settles. The night grows deeper, and you, like the sloth, can rest among gentle life without needing to move, without needing to respond, simply letting the forest's quiet community do what it does best. Keep going softly so you can sleep. Sometimes the rainforest feels like a single, shared breath, not just the breath of animals, though they are part of it, but the breath of leaves releasing moisture, of warm air rising and cooling, of water moving through stems and dripping back down again. Everything participates, and when you listen slowly, you can sense the forest breathing as a system, steady, repeating, patient. A sloth fits into this beautifully. Its own rhythm is slow enough to match the larger rhythm around it. It doesn't try to override the forest's pace. It doesn't argue with the night. It simply settles into the same pulse, the way a small boat settles into the rhythm of a calm tide. In the canopy, you might notice how many breaths are happening at once. Leaves flutter, then rest. Mist drifts in a thin wave. Humidity thickens, then loosens. The soundscape swells slightly, then softens again. Even the light seems to breathe, moonlight appearing and disappearing as leaves shift. And in the middle of all that, the sloth remains steady, almost like a slow heartbeat. This steadiness is not rigid. It is relaxed consistency. a gentle refusal to spend energy where it isn't needed. The rainforest, too, is consistent in its own way. It doesn't change moods abruptly. It transitions gradually. Evening becomes night. Night becomes dawn. Rain arrives. Then becomes drip. Then becomes moisture in the air. Then becomes growth over time. Nothing is rushed. Everything returns. If you've ever felt comforted by repetition, by a familiar sound, a familiar routine, a familiar place, you understand the rainforest's kind of calm. The forest does not need novelty to be alive. It needs rhythm. And the sloth is a creature shaped by rhythm, eating slowly, moving slowly, resting deeply, conserving energy, belonging to the canopy's repeating patterns. Tonight, you can borrow this idea as you settle toward sleep. You don't need a dramatic change to relax. You don't need a big switch to turn off the day. You can soften gradually, the way the rainforest softens into night. Inhale, and imagine your breath joining the forest's breath. Exhale, and let yourself become part of the rhythm. There's a gentle humor in how nature handles this. The rainforest runs on cycles so steady and so old that it doesn't need reminders, alarms, or calendar invites. It simply continues, and everything within it finds a way to synchronize, including you. Even if your thoughts have been out of sync today, they can settle now. They can slow down. They can become less jagged, like mist smoothing over gaps between trees, like water smoothing over stones. The canopy sways, the forest breathes, the sloth rests, and you can rest too, held by the calm pulse of a world that has been practicing this quiet rhythm for a very long time. A leaf is a simple thing until you look at it slowly. In moonlight, it becomes a small landscape, veins like delicate rivers, edges softly curled, a surface that catches moisture and light in tiny beads. It holds the scent of the canopy. It holds the memory of rain. It holds a quiet kind of nourishment that does not arrive quickly, but arrives steadily. For a sloth, this is dinner, not a dramatic dinner, not an urgent one, a gentle one. A sloth reaches for leaves with a patience that feels almost tender. The movement is minimal, a slow extension, a careful grip, a quiet pull that brings the leaf close without shaking the branch too much. Then the eating begins, unhurried, consistent, calm. If you were to measure time by this act, you might forget the concept of fast, because the sloth does not treat eating as something to get over with. It treats eating as part of resting, part of being, part of continuing gently. And the rainforest supports this. Leaves are plentiful, but they are not intense. They don't spark a burst of energy. They offer a long, slow supply, and the sloth responds with a long, slow life. There's a softness in this exchange, as if both the leaf and the sloth agree. We will do this quietly. If you imagine the sensory world of the canopy, you can picture the textures involved. The leaf's firmness at first bite, the subtle taste of plant chemistry, something earthy, something green, the scent of wet bark nearby, the feel of humid air against fur. The whole scene is gentle enough that it barely disturbs the night. And perhaps that's what makes it feel so calming to us. Because so much of human time feels like it comes with pressure. Eat quickly, move quickly, decide quickly, respond quickly. But the sloth shows a different relationship with time. Time is not something to outrun. Time is something to inhabit. Tonight, you can let that idea settle into your body. You don't have to finish the day. You can let the day fade. You can let your mind chew slowly through the last thoughts and then release them one by one. Inhale, like reaching for a leaf. Exhale, like letting the leaf become part of calm. If a memory appears, you can hold it lightly, then let it go. If a plan appears, you can notice it, then set it down. The sloth continues its quiet routine, small bites, long pauses, steady stillness, and the canopy continues around it, mist drifting, leaves swaying, water moving in soft, repeating patterns. In this world, slow is not a problem, it is a peace. And as you listen, you can let yourself enter that peace, without effort, without force, until your thoughts feel as gentle as leaves in moonlight. And sleep begins to arrive the way the rainforest does, gradually, softly, and completely on its own. In the rainforest, there are pauses you can almost see, not empty pauses, not awkward ones, the kind of pauses that feel like the world is taking a slow sip of quiet. A raindrop gathers at the tip of a leaf, swelling patiently, round, heavy, reflective. It hangs there for a moment, catching moonlight like a tiny silver bead. Then, without drama, it lets go. It falls. It lands somewhere below with a soft tap that barely changes the night at all. And then another droplet begins again. This is the rainforest's version of timekeeping, gentle, repeating, and never in a hurry. Sloths fit into this perfectly. They are like living pauses in a moving forest. They don't interrupt the scene. They soften it. They don't race the rain. They don't resist it. They simply exist within it, as calmly as a branch holding moisture. When rain becomes steady, the canopy turns into a layered roof of green. Some droplets never make it through. They travel leaf to leaf, slowing down at every layer, like they are enjoying the descent. The air grows richer with scent, wet bark, fresh leaves, soil waking up. The whole forest smells like it has been gently rinsed, and in that damp comfort, a sloth rests. It does not look bothered. It does not look stressed. It looks like it has accepted the weather as part of the lullaby. There is something deeply reassuring about a creature that does not treat every change as a crisis. Because in human life, even small changes can feel loud. A new message arrives, a plan shifts, a delay appears, and the mind immediately tries to speed up, solve, adjust, react. But the rainforest offers another way. The rain arrives, and the forest absorbs it. The sloth remains, and the branch holds it. The night continues, and nothing needs to be forced. If you'd like, you can take your own small pause between raindrops now. Not a pause where you try to clear your mind. Just a pause where you allow your mind to be less busy. Inhale and feel a quiet moment gather. Exhale and let it release. Inhale, another gentle bead of calm forming. Exhale, letting it fall away. Even if your thoughts keep returning, they can return softly, like raindrops returning to leaves. You don't have to catch them. You don't have to hold them. You can simply let them come and go. There's a faint humor here too, tucked into the tenderness of the scene. The rainforest has been running this slow, soothing rain sound machine for ages, and it never needs an update. No settings, no volume adjustments. It just works, And the sloth, ever consistent, seems like the forest's best customer, resting through it all as if it placed the order itself. As the canopy drips and the air stays warm and heavy, let yourself drift the way the forest drifts. Let your breath become the gentle rhythm. Let your thoughts become quieter spaces between droplets. And let your body feel what the sloth seems to know. You can stay calm even while the world moves. Most of a sloth's life happens above the ground, in the gentle safety of branches and leaves. So when a sloth travels downward, it feels like a rare event, not dramatic, not rushed, just uncommon, like a quiet errand taken slowly in the middle of a long rest. The descent is careful. A sloth doesn't move down as if it's escaping something. It moves down the way you might move down a staircase in the dark, one measured step at a time, attentive, calm, unhurried. Its claws find holds in bark. Its limbs shift weight slowly, as if the body is checking in with itself at each movement. Are we steady? Are we safe? Are we comfortable? And because everything is done at this pace, the descent becomes almost meditative to watch, an animal moving through space without forcing time to speed up. In the rainforest, the journey downward also changes the atmosphere. Above, the canopy is open and airy in its own way, light filtered through leaves, breezes passing through. Below, the forest feels denser. The air feels thicker with earthy scent. Leaf litter softens the ground like a natural rug. Shadows deepen. The world becomes quieter, closer, more enclosed, and still, the sloth remains calm. It doesn't belong to the ground in the same way it belongs to the branches, but it doesn't panic about that. It simply moves with care, like a visitor who knows they'll return home soon. There's something quietly reassuring in that too. The idea of doing what's needed, even if it's not your favorite part, and doing it without turning it into a struggle. If you imagine this slow descent as a metaphor, it can be gentle rather than heavy. Sometimes we have to move from one state into another, from daytime into night, from effort into rest, from thinking into sleeping. And the best way isn't always to jump. Sometimes the best way is to descend softly, one small step at a time. So if you're still awake tonight, if sleep hasn't arrived yet, you can treat this moment like a sloth's careful descent. No rushing, no frustration, just slow transition. Inhale and take one small step downward. Exhale and settle into it. Inhale, another small step. Exhale, releasing more weight, more tension. The forest floor is soft beneath the trees, and the sloth, moving carefully, seems to understand that slowness is a kind of safety. In the canopy above, rain continues to drip. Leaves continue to sway. The night continues its quiet work, and the sloth, after its gentle errand, will eventually return upward, back into the branches, back into the world it knows best. For now, let the idea of downward movement help you, not downward into worry, downward into softness, downward into stillness, downward into sleep. Like the sloth, you can arrive there slowly, so slowly that it feels less like going somewhere, and more like settling into what has been waiting for you all along. There is a quiet skill in slowness, not the slowness of delay or indecision, but the slowness of a life that knows exactly how much energy to spend and exactly how much to save. In the rainforest, where leaves offer nourishment slowly, where humidity wraps everything in a warm softness, where the canopy provides shelter without needing walls, slowness can be an elegant strategy. It can be a form of intelligence, not loud, not flashy, just steady. The sloth shows us this. Its pace is not a mistake. It is a match, a gentle alignment between body and world. And when you watch that alignment, something in the mind often softens, because we are so used to the idea that faster is better, quicker is smarter, busy is important. Productivity is proof, but in the canopy, the sloth offers a different kind of proof. Proof that a life can be full without being fast. Proof that energy can be protected. Proof that enough can be a success. Slowness, in this sense, is not lack. It's selection. It's choosing what matters and letting the rest remain untouched. A sloth doesn't waste movement on unnecessary things. It doesn't wander widely just to wander. It doesn't flail or fidget. It moves when it needs to, and then it rests. It eats slowly, and then it rests. It breathes, and then it rests. And the rainforest rewards this because the rainforest is built on slow processes too. Soil forms gradually, leaf by leaf. Trees grow ring by ring, patient and quiet. Rain falls repeatedly, shaping the land with small, persistent gestures. Even the canopy's constant life, moss, vines, epiphytes, builds itself over time, layering and settling until the forest becomes thick with soft complexity. In other words, the rainforest is not in a rush either. And when you remember that, your own body may feel less pressured to hurry. Tonight, you don't need to be efficient in the way the world sometimes demands. You don't need to be impressive. You don't need to squeeze one more task into the day. You can practice a different kind of intelligence. Rest. Inhale, slowly, as if there is plenty of time. Exhale, as if you're saving your energy for something gentle, like dreaming. If a thought arrives that tries to speed you up, what about tomorrow? What about that thing? What about the list? You can greet it the way the rainforest greets rain, with acceptance, with softness, with the calm knowledge that it will pass. There's a faint, affectionate humor in admiring slowness too. The sloth has somehow made a career out of taking it easy, and nature has signed off on the plan. No urgency required, no hustle needed, just a steady life, lived in quiet balance. And if the rainforest rewards anything in slowness, perhaps it rewards this: the ability to remain present, the ability to conserve what matters, the ability to belong to the moment without racing ahead of it. Tonight, you can do the same. Slowly, gently, enough. In the rainforest, memory doesn't sit in a library. It sits in the living things themselves. It hides in the faint scars on a leaf where an insect once tasted and moved on. It rests in the smoothness of a branch that has held many seasons of rain. It lingers in the rings, inside a tree trunk, quiet circles that mark years without needing to announce them. And even when we can't see it, the forest keeps track. Not in the way humans keep track, through dates and lists, but through traces, through patterns that repeat, through small signs that say, this happened here, this grew here, this healed here. If you look at leaves in moonlight, you might notice how many of them carry tiny stories, a torn edge repaired by new growth, a pale patch where sunlight once fell strongly, a line of holes where something fed carefully, leaf by leaf, leaving behind a gentle dotted path. None of it is dramatic. It's simply the forest remembering in its own quiet language. And sloths live within this kind of memory. They return to familiar trees and familiar branches, not because they are sentimental, but because familiarity is efficient. The canopy becomes a gentle map, and the sloth moves through it slowly, like someone walking through a home they know well, even in the dark. There is comfort in that, and perhaps that comfort is one of nature's softest gifts, because when the world feels uncertain, familiar textures can calm the nervous system. A known scent, a steady sound, a repeated rhythm. The rainforest is full of repeated rhythms, rain returning, mist returning, insects singing the same slow chorus night after night, and the leaves always growing, always falling, always becoming soil, always becoming leaves again in time. This is the forest's memory, not a single moment, but a cycle, a remembering that doesn't cling, a remembering that continues. Tonight, if your mind is full of memories, busy ones, heavy ones, bright ones, you don't have to push them away. You can let them become like the forest's memories, present, then softened, then turned into something quieter. A thought can be a leaf scar. A feeling can be a growth ring. A worry can be a trace that passes through and then fades as the night continues. Inhale and allow whatever is here to be here. Exhale and let it soften the way time softens bark and stone. There's a gentle humor in this too, if you want it. The rainforest has been collecting notes for millions of years, and it never files anything. It simply lets everything become part of the landscape. No paperwork, no overthinking, just quiet integration. And maybe that is the sweetest kind of remembering. Remembering without gripping. Remembering without replaying. Remembering in a way that allows healing. The sloth, resting in the canopy, does not seem weighed down by yesterday. It is held by tonight, held by the branch, held by the repeating, reliable pattern of leaves and rain, and you can be held by that feeling too. The day has left its traces, yes, but now the night is here, and the night has its own gentle work to smooth the edges, to quiet the mind, and to let you rest inside the slow memory of the wild. The rainforest is full of partnerships that don't announce themselves. They don't hold meetings. They don't sign agreements. They simply fit together. A vine leans on a tree, and the tree continues to grow, unbothered. Moss settles where bark stays damp, softening the surface like a quiet blanket. Tiny insects pollinate flowers without realizing they're part of a larger design. Fungi and roots trade nutrients beneath the soil in exchanges so subtle they feel like whispers underground. And in its own gentle way, the sloth participates in this same quiet cooperation. We've already met one of its most famous partnerships, the algae that can grow in sloth fur, tinning it green and helping it blend into the canopy. The sloth offers a moist, textured home, and the algae offers camouflage. No drama, no urgency, just two lives overlapping in a way that benefits both. It's a soft kind of teamwork, the kind that happens naturally when a world is patient enough to allow it. In the canopy, cooperation continues in small ways. Trees provide branches that hold animals without asking anything in return. Leaves provide nourishment, and in return, animals, through their presence and movement, help shape the small patterns of the forest. Insects and birds move seeds. Rain spreads life. Even decay is cooperative. Fallen leaves become soil, and soil becomes new growth. Everything participates in everything else. And the rainforest remains calm about it. It doesn't turn cooperation into a slogan. It simply lives it. There's something soothing about that, because in human life, cooperation can sometimes feel complicated. It can feel like negotiation, like effort, like misunderstanding. But nature often shows a simpler version. Cooperation as alignment. When you fit, you fit. When you help, you help. When you receive, you receive. And you don't have to make a big performance out of it. A sloth, resting quietly, is not trying to contribute. It isn't trying to be impressive. It is simply living in a way that allows other small lives to exist around it. Sometimes the most cooperative thing is simply not disturbing the peace. There's a faint smile in that idea. The sloth, famous for doing very little, may be quietly supporting an entire tiny community just by staying still long enough. In a night like this, you can let that soften your own mind. You don't have to solve every problem alone. You don't have to carry everything without support. You are allowed to be part of a larger world that holds you, your bed holding your body, the air holding your breath, the night holding your thoughts until they drift apart. Inhale and feel the support around you. Exhale and let yourself cooperate with rest. Let go of resistance. Let go of effort. Let your body settle into the simple partnership between you and gravity. You and the pillow. You and the quiet. In the rainforest, cooperation is often invisible, but it is everywhere. And perhaps that is one of the gentlest truths of the wild. You are never truly alone. You are always held by something: air, earth, time, rhythm. Tonight, let yourself be held, like a sloth in the canopy, quietly supported by a branch that has been waiting there all along. If you could read the rainforest the way you read a poem, you might notice something comforting. Nature rarely shouts its cleverness. It writes it in small details. A leaf shaped to shed rain, a root shaped to hold soil, a wing patterned like bark, a body designed not for speed, but for steadiness. And the sloth is one of those quiet lines in the poem, an animal whose entire existence feels like a gentle stanza about adaptation. Because the sloth's slowness is not random, it is an answer to leaves that offer slow nourishment, an answer to a canopy that provides safe shelter above the ground, an answer to a humid world where camouflage can be made not only of color, but of stillness. The sloth's curved claws, for example, are more than a feature. They are a design choice, a way of holding on to branches with minimal effort, turning hanging into resting, turning gravity into comfort. Its metabolism is another quiet line in the poem. Slow processing, slow energy release, an internal rhythm that matches a leafy diet without demanding constant motion. And because the sloth's energy is protected, the sloth can live a life that looks calm from the outside and feels balanced from the inside. Even the sloth's fur tells a story of fitting in. Algae can grow there, adding soft green tones that make the sloth blend into mossy branches and leaf-shadowed light. It is not disguise with urgency. It is disguise with patience. All of this is adaptation, and adaptation is often misunderstood as something dramatic. But much of adaptation is quiet. It is long change. It is gentle adjustment across generations, the way a river shapes a stone, not with force, but with repetition. The rainforest itself is an archive of these slow poems. Everything here has been shaped by moisture, warmth, and time. Not hurried time, deep time, time that is comfortable taking its time. And when you rest with that thought, it can soften your relationship with your own life, because you too are always adapting, quietly, often without noticing. You adapt to seasons of work and rest. You adapt to new routines. You adapt to change, and you don't always need to do it loudly. Tonight, you are allowed to adapt back into stillness, back into softness, back into sleep. Inhale and feel your body making a small adjustment toward comfort. Exhale and let it settle there. There's a faint, affectionate humor in calling this a poem because the sloth's version of poetry is not fast or dramatic. It's more like a long, slow haiku written in fur and branches. Few words, long pauses, very committed to the vibe. And the rainforest, generous as always, makes room for that style. As you listen, let your thoughts become fewer. Let your pauses become longer. Let your breathing feel like a quiet line break between sentences. The sloth continues to rest in its leaf-shadowed world, perfectly adapted to doing less and conserving more. And in the softest way, it reminds you, you don't have to push yourself into sleep. You can let sleep be an adaptation too, a natural shift, a gentle fit, a quiet poem the body already knows how to write. The rainforest does not run on commands. It runs on responses. A little rain falls, and the leaves hold it. Then they release it slowly, drip by drip, feeding the layers below. The air grows humid, and moss settles in happily. Light filters through, and plants lean and stretch toward it without rushing. Everything reacts, adjusts, and continues. This is the forest's quiet intelligence. Feedback, not the kind of feedback that judges or grades. The kind that simply says, when this changes, I change too. And over time, these small responses create balance. A rainforest is full of loops like this. Rain feeds growth. Growth holds moisture. Moisture shapes the air. The air shapes the plants. The plants shape the shade. The shade cools the understory. The understory protects the soil. The soil supports the roots. The roots hold the trees. The trees hold the canopy. And the canopy, in its layered calm, turns sunlight into life again and again. It's a system of gentle returns, a circle that doesn't need to hurry. A sloth lives inside these loops. Its life is shaped by the rainforest's steady offerings, and in return, the sloth participates in the same rhythm, eating leaves, resting to conserve energy, moving slowly so the canopy remains quiet and undisturbed. Even the algae in sloth fur fits into this idea of feedback. The humid air allows algae to grow. Algae adds camouflage. Camouflage helps the sloth remain calm and unnoticed. Calm stillness allows the algae to continue. A loop within a loop. All of it quiet, all of it steady. And there's something soothing about knowing that balance doesn't require perfection. It requires responsiveness. The rainforest does not solve itself once and then move on. It constantly adjusts, constantly returns, constantly finds steadiness through small shifts. If your day has felt like a series of jolts, unexpected messages, sudden tasks, quick decisions, this rainforest model can feel like a gentle alternative. You don't have to fix everything at once. You don't have to handle the entire week right now. You only have to do one small thing: respond by softening. Inhale, and let that be your small adjustment. Exhale, and let your body return to calm. If a thought appears, you can treat it like weather. It arrives, you notice, you allow, and then you return to the loop of breathing, again and again, until the mind becomes steady. There's a faint humor in imagining the rainforest as a system, because unlike human systems, it doesn't need troubleshooting emails. It doesn't need performance reports. It doesn't schedule a meeting to discuss humidity. It simply responds quietly and continues. And the sloth, in its own way, is doing the same. No drama, no urgency. Just a gentle life inside a gentle set of feedback loops. Tonight, you can let your own system, your nervous system, your breathing, your muscles, do what it was built to do. Downshift. Settle, return to balance. Like the rainforest, you don't have to be perfect. You only have to keep returning to steadiness. Breath by breath, leaf by leaf, softly, quietly, until sleep feels less like something you need to achieve and more like something your body naturally returns to. The way the forest returns to rain and shade and night. There is a comfort in patterns that return, not because life is repetitive in a boring way, but because repetition can be reassuring, like a familiar song that never asks you to listen harder, only to relax into the rhythm. The rainforest is full of returning patterns. Night after night, insects gather their voices into a steady chorus. Rain comes, not once, but again and again, in gentle waves and soft phases. Mist rises where warmth meets cool air, then thins, then returns. Leaves sway in the same slow conversation with the breeze, repeating gestures that have been practiced for thousands of nights. And in the middle of these patterns, the sloth lives quietly, almost like a symbol of repetition itself, because the sloth does not reinvent its day. It doesn't chase novelty. It follows a calm routine. Rest, feed, rest again, move a little, rest again. And rather than feeling limited, that routine feels like a kind of peace, a rhythm that keeps the body stable, a rhythm that keeps the mind unbothered, a rhythm that fits the forest, the way a slow heartbeat fits a sleeping body. If you imagine the canopy as a place that never stops moving, it helps to remember. Much of its movement is the same movement, returning. The same breeze, the same drip of water from leaf to leaf, the same soft shift of shadows across bark. The rainforest is not trying to surprise itself. It is trying to continue, and continuation is often built from repetition. This can be a gentle thought for a human mind that feels tired, because sometimes we think we need a perfect solution to rest, a perfect routine, a perfect night, a perfect calm. But nature rarely offers perfection. Nature offers returning. You return to breath. You return to stillness. you return to the feeling of being held, again and again, until it becomes easier. Tonight, your return can be simple. Return to the sensation of your blanket. Return to the weight of your body on the bed. Return to the quiet sound of your own breathing. Inhale, returning. Exhale, returning. If your mind wanders, that is also part of the pattern. It drifts away. It returns. It drifts away. It returns. And you don't have to judge that. You can let it be. The way leaves sway. Away, then back. Away, then back. There's a faint humor in how sloths treat routine too. They have somehow made repetition look like a luxury. As if the greatest achievement is not doing more, but needing less. And the rainforest seems to agree. It provides the same essential gifts again and again. Warmth, moisture, leaves, shade. Nothing flashy, nothing forced. Just steady support. As you listen, let your thoughts become less interested in new directions. Let them settle into the repeating comforts of the night. Let your breathing be your chorus. Let the darkness be your canopy. Let rest be the pattern you return to, softly, patiently, until sleep feels inevitable, not earned. The rainforest doesn't rush into morning. It eases through night. And the sloth doesn't rush into anything. It simply continues, quietly, reliably, in the gentle comfort of returning patterns. In the rainforest, life does not move in straight lines. It moves in cycles. A leaf grows, then ages, then falls. On the forest floor, it softens into soil, and from that soil, new growth rises again. Fresh leaves, new stems, another quiet beginning. Rain arrives, then becomes drip, then becomes moisture held in air and bark, then becomes growth, then becomes shade. The forest doesn't cling to one moment. It turns moments into continuations, and within that slow, patient cycle, the sloth lives its own gentle life cycle too, not in a dramatic rush, but in a steady unfolding that feels like a quiet story told over time. Sloths grow, they rest, they learn the shape of their canopy. They settle into the slow routines that keep them balanced, and through it all, the rainforest continues around them, carrying them forward as softly as water carries a leaf. Life cycles can sound like a serious topic, but in nature, they are often calm. They are not announcements, they are transitions. A plant grows into the light, then eventually becomes part of the shade it once reached for. A fallen branch becomes a new home for moss and insects. A clearing becomes a patch of young trees. The rainforest is constantly letting go and constantly beginning again, not with urgency, with quiet steadiness. And the sloth's way of living seems to fit that perfectly. It doesn't resist the pace of life. It doesn't try to outrun change. It simply continues with the slow confidence of something that belongs. Tonight, you can let that idea soften your thoughts, because sometimes our minds treat endings like problems. The end of a day can feel like unfinished work. The end of a moment can feel like something lost. But nature treats endings differently. In nature, endings are part of the cycle, necessary, gentle, and often full of quiet promise. A leaf falling is not a failure. It is the forest continuing. A night ending is not a loss. It is the rhythm returning. And sleep, too, is part of a life cycle you enter every day. A small ending, a small renewal, a soft reset that doesn't require you to achieve it perfectly. It simply arrives when your body is allowed to follow its nature, Inhale and feel the day beginning to soften. Exhale and let it fall away like a leaf returning to the forest floor. If a thought tries to hold on, you can thank it gently and let it go. It can return tomorrow if it needs to. Tonight, it can rest. There's a faint humor in how casually nature handles this. No grand speeches, no dramatic goodbyes. The forest simply changes its outfit slowly, season by season, leaf by leaf. And the sloth, devoted to calm routines, seems perfectly content to be part of that long, quiet change. As you drift towards sleep, let yourself become part of the same cycle. Let the day close softly. Let the night open gently. Let your mind loosen its grip. Because in the wild, everything knows how to let go in order to continue. And tonight, you can let go too. Not all at once, not perfectly, just enough. Enough to rest, enough to drift, enough to return to the gentle cycle that carries you towards sleep. There's a kind of home that isn't a place you travel to. It's a feeling you return to. In the rainforest, home can be a familiar branch, a certain pocket of shade, a cluster of leaves that always feels close enough to reach. For a sloth, home is often the canopy itself, steady, predictable, and soft in the way it holds the body. The sloth doesn't need to search endlessly for home. It returns to it by staying near what already works. And there's a gentle lesson hiding there, one that doesn't ask you to do anything dramatic. Sometimes letting go is simply returning to what is simple, returning to what is familiar, returning to the quiet truth that you don't have to carry everything all the time. In human life, letting go can sound like a big act, like you need to release something with a grand, final motion. But nature often lets go in smaller ways. A leaf loosens and falls. A river releases a stone it has smoothed for years. A season shifts quietly, without an announcement. Letting go is often gradual, and in a night like this, it can be gentle. You can let go of the day not by erasing it, but by setting it down. You can let go of tomorrow not by solving it, but by trusting it can wait. You can let go of thoughts not by forcing silence, but by giving them less grip, less attention, less urgency, less weight. The sloth does something like this naturally. It doesn't waste energy holding on to what it doesn't need. It doesn't move just to feel busy. It rests when resting is the right thing. It stays close to its familiar canopy, and in doing so, it conserves calm the way you might conserve warmth under a blanket. Tonight, your home can be very small. It can be your breath. It can be the feeling of your body supported. It can be the steady rhythm of the night, moving outside your window, continuing without you needing to manage it. Inhale and return home to the simple sensation of air entering. Exhale and return home to the softness of release. If you notice your mind pulling outward, toward unfinished tasks, toward conversations, toward planning, bring it back kindly, the way a sloth brings itself back to a comfortable branch, not with scolding, with patience, with repetition. There's a faint humor in the sloth's approach to letting go, too. It seems to let go of urgency so completely that you wonder if it ever picked it up in the first place. And maybe that's the sweetest part. Sloths show us that you don't have to carry urgency to be alive. You can carry steadiness instead. You can carry quiet. You can carry the simple warmth of existing without rushing. As the canopy breathes above the forest floor and the night deepens into its softest shade, let yourself loosen. Let your shoulders lower. Let your jaw unclench. Let your thoughts become less sticky, more like mist. Present, then drifting. Present, then thinning. And in that loosening, you may feel what the sloth's world quietly offers: a return, a settling, a small homecoming into stillness. Because sleep is not a place you fight your way into. Sleep is something you return to. Softly, naturally, like a sloth returning to its branch and finding it has been waiting there all along. Now, very gently, we return to the question we set beneath the leaves. What does the rainforest reward when a life moves slowly? Not with applause, not with prizes. The rainforest rewards in quieter ways, the way it rewards every living thing that fits its rhythm. It rewards with steadiness, with shelter that's already there, with food that arrives again and again, with shade that feels like a kind hand resting on the world. And the sloth is one of the clearest answers. A sloth moves slowly, and in return, it spends less energy. It keeps its life simple. It makes the canopy a home rather than a distance to conquer. It rests as if resting is part of the contract, because in the rainforest, it is. The reward is not excitement. The reward is balance. The reward is the feeling of enough. If you listen closely, you can sense how the forest itself favors this kind of living. Leaves don't hurry to grow. Rain doesn't rush to fall. Mist doesn't sprint through the trees. Everything arrives at the pace it arrives, and it's still successful. It's still complete. So tonight, you can take this question and hold it in a smaller way, closer to your own body, closer to your own breathing. What does your own inner world reward when you move slowly? Perhaps it rewards softness in your shoulders. Perhaps it rewards a quieter jaw. Perhaps it rewards a calmer heartbeat. Perhaps it rewards the simple relief of not needing to chase anything for a few hours. If thoughts come in quickly, you don't need to catch them quickly. You can let them come in slow motion. You can let them drift through like fog, thinning as it moves. Inhale, as if you have all the time you need. Exhale, as if you're gently placing something down. The rainforest rewards slowness with a kind of safety, an invisible permission to remain, and the sloth, held by its branch, seems to demonstrate that permission with every still moment. Tonight, you can practice the same permission. You can let yourself be held by the bed, by the pillow, by the weight of your own body settling into support. You can let the night do its work without you managing it. The question does not need a clever answer. It only needs a quiet place to rest. And now, as the canopy's motion becomes smaller and the sounds feel further away, we carry that question forward one last time, not to solve it, but to let it soften you. What does the rainforest reward? When a life moves slowly, it rewards belonging. And tonight, you belong to rest. As the night deepens, the canopy seems to change its posture, not suddenly, not sharply, just gradually. The way a room feels different when the lights are lowered. Leaves tilt and settle. The breeze becomes a softer suggestion. The humid air feels more still, as if the forest has exhaled and decided to remain quiet for a while. In the slower version of the rainforest, motion becomes smaller. A leaf turns slightly, then stops. A droplet slides down a stem, then disappears. A distant call fades into the background, and the insects keep their steady, gentle weave. Everything continues, but nothing insists. And the sloth, somewhere above, seems perfectly matched to this mood, as if it has been waiting all day for the forest to become this soft. If your mind is still active, you don't need to force it to stop. You can simply let it follow the forest's example. Let it become less dramatic. Let it become smaller movements rather than big ones. A thought can be a leaf turning. A worry can be a droplet sliding away. A plan can be a distant sound that fades until you can't quite tell where it went. Inhale and feel your attention lift slightly, as if you're noticing the canopy. Exhale and feel your attention settle, as if you're becoming part of it. There is no need to perform relaxation. There is only the gentle drift of settling. The body understands this. The body knows how to soften in layers, the forehead smoothing, the eyes resting deeper, the shoulders lowering, the chest loosening, the belly becoming less held. Even your hands can relax, as if they no longer need to be ready for anything. And in the same way the forest doesn't rush to become night, you don't have to rush to become sleepy. Sleep is already nearby, like a familiar path in the canopy. You can walk toward it slowly, without making it a task. Inhale, drifting. Exhale, settling. If you notice a small tension in your body, imagine it loosening the way a leaf loosens from its stem when it's ready. Not forced, not yanked away, just released at the right moment. The rainforest is full of right moments. A right moment for rain to fall. A right moment for mist to rise. A right moment for stillness to spread. And right now can be your moment to settle more deeply. The canopy quiets. The soundscape softens into a continuous hush. And somewhere within that hush, the sloth remains as calm as a branch. Let your mind become like that branch, steady, supportive, uninterested in rushing. Let your thoughts become like leaves, light, drifting, easily released, and let your body begin to feel what the forest is gently offering: a slower rhythm, a softer night, a quiet place to rest. Now, we let the breath take the lead, not as an exercise, not as something to do perfectly, just as something you can notice, the way you notice wind and leaves. It arrives, it passes, it returns again. In the rainforest, the wind rarely pushes. It brushes. It moves through branches like a soft hand, never demanding that anything change quickly. Leaves respond with small motions, tiny turns, gentle sways, then return to stillness. You can let your breathing be like that wind, a soft arrival, a quiet departure, a steady return. Inhale, slowly, as if your breath is drifting through a canopy of calm. Exhale, easily, as if your breath is settling into shade. If it helps, imagine the air around you smoothing out, the way a river's surface smooths when the wind eases. Imagine your thoughts becoming less jagged, less sharp, more rounded at the edges. The rainforest is full of smoothing. Water smooths stone, time smooths bark, mist smooths distance, and the breath can smooth the mind. Inhale, smoothing. Exhale, smoothing. As you breathe, notice the places your body is supported. The back of your head supported by the pillow. Your shoulders supported by the bed. Your hips supported by the steady surface beneath you. Gravity doing its gentle work, not pulling you into anything stressful, only inviting you downward into rest. If your mind tries to help, tries to plan, tries to solve, you can let it take a seat. You can let it rest too. It does not need to stand guard tonight. Inhale, the way the forest draws in moisture and warmth. Exhale, the way the forest releases it into the night. Your breath can become quieter, not because you force it, but because the body naturally softens when it feels safe. And safety can be simple. Dim light, still air, a quiet room, and the permission to do nothing. A sloth understands this permission. It rests without apology. It remains without explaining. It lets the world move around it while it stays calm. You can do the same. Inhale and let your chest rise gently. Exhale and let it fall, as if you're setting down a small weight. If you want a simple rhythm, you can let the exhale be slightly longer than the inhale, like letting go more than you take in, like loosening more than you hold. Inhale, a soft arrival. Exhale, a softer release. And now, as the breath settles into an easy pattern, you may notice sleep beginning to feel closer. Not like a destination you chase, but like a fog bank you drift into. The edges blur, the effort fades, the mind becomes quieter without being commanded to. Let that happen. Let the breath guide you, like evening wind through leaves, like water smoothing over stone, like the rainforest easing into its deepest night. There's a kind of peace that comes from realizing nothing is demanded of you right now. Not a response, not a decision, not a performance. The rainforest, in its night rhythm, does not ask the sloth to become faster, brighter, louder, or more impressive. It simply provides shade, branches, leaves, and quiet. The sloth receives that and rests. And perhaps that is the most soothing conclusion we can take from this slow life. A world can hold you without requiring you to prove anything. Tonight, you can let yourself be held in the same way. You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to complete one more thought to deserve sleep. You don't have to solve tomorrow to be allowed to drift. If the mind offers you a list, you can thank it and let the list sit on a branch somewhere far above, safe, untouched, waiting for daylight, if it still matters then. For now, you are allowed to do less. You are allowed to be quiet. You are allowed to be unfinished in the gentle way a leaf is unfinished before it becomes soil and then becomes something new. In the rainforest, unfinished is normal. Everything is always becoming, and the sloth is never in a hurry to become anything else. It is enough as it is. Let that be true for you tonight. Inhale and feel enough settle into your chest. Exhale and release the feeling that you must do more. If any tension remains, you don't have to locate it perfectly. You don't have to analyze it. You can simply let your body soften around it, the way mist softens the outline of trees. Your face can relax. Your tongue can rest. Your hands can loosen. Your feet can fall outward into comfort. The night can be ordinary and still be healing. The rainforest is ordinary in its own way, rain, leaves, insects, shade. And it is endlessly soothing, precisely because it does not try too hard. It simply continues, and sleep can be like that too. Not a special event, not a challenge, just a natural part of the cycle, arriving when the body is given permission. So if you're still listening, let the listening become looser. You don't have to follow every word. You can let my voice be part of the background, like insects in the canopy, present, steady, and easy to drift away from. Inhale gently, exhale even more gently. A world that doesn't demand, a night that doesn't insist, a rest that doesn't need to be earned. And now, as the canopy quiets further and the forest's motion becomes almost imperceptible, let yourself slide into the simplest conclusion of all. Nothing needs to happen. You can just rest. Now, we let the story dissolve into night. The rainforest becomes less a place you're imagining and more a feeling, soft, dim, and steady. Fog drifts through the branches as if it is rearranging the air into something smoother. Moonlight filters down in pale ribbons, and every ribbon fades gently at the edges, never sharp, never bright. Somewhere above, a sloth rests, but you don't need to picture it clearly anymore. It can be only a suggestion, an unhurried presence in the canopy, a reminder that it is safe to do nothing. The sounds of the forest continue, but they soften too. Insects keep their quiet chorus, like a blanket of tiny notes. Water continues its slow travel from leaf to leaf, never rushing, never stopping. A breeze passes through once, then settles, as if it has found a comfortable place to lie down. And you can settle the same way. If your thoughts are still moving, let them move like fog, drifting without direction, thinning as they go. If a thought becomes too clear, too sharp, you can let it blur again by returning to breath. Inhale, fog arriving. Exhale, fog drifting on. Inhale, a soft wave of air. Exhale, a softer release. The body too can become fog-like, heavy where it rests on the bed, light where it no longer needs to hold tension. Your forehead smooths, your eyelids grow warmer and heavier, your shoulders feel wider and lower, as if they've finally stopped trying to lift the day. And now we repeat what the forest repeats, simple, steady motifs that don't require attention. Water, leaves, breath. Water, leaves, breath. Let those words be like gentle stepping stones across a quiet river. You don't have to step on each one. You can simply float above them, carried by the slow current towards sleep. The rainforest is patient. It does not check the time. It does not wonder if you're doing it correctly. It simply continues being night, and your body can continue becoming sleep in the same unforced way. Inhale and soften. Exhale and soften more. If you feel yourself drifting, you can drift. If you feel yourself sinking, you can sink. There's nothing to hold up, nothing to keep together, nothing to figure out. Only the slow, steady comfort of a world that moves gently, and the quiet permission to let your mind become quiet too. Fog in the branches, moonlight in the leaves, a resting canopy, a resting body. And now, as the story becomes quieter still, you can let it fade into the background, like a distant river sound you no longer need to follow, until sleep feels less like an arrival and more like a natural settling into where you already are. The rainforest has a pulse you can't quite point to. Not a loud pulse, Not a dramatic one, a slow, steady pulse, like the quiet throb of warmth held in the air, like the soft persistence of life continuing without effort. It is in the way leaves keep their gentle sway even when the breeze is barely there. It is in the way water continues to move, even if only as drip and dew. It is in the way the night soundscape holds together, small voices, distant calls, a steady hush that never becomes silence and never becomes too much. This is the slow pulse of green, and when you listen to it long enough, you may notice your own body matching it. Your breathing becomes a little slower, a little deeper, without you trying. Your shoulders ease downward as if they've found permission to stop carrying the day. Your face softens into its natural resting shape, like a leaf settling into shade. Somewhere above in the canopy, the sloth remains, still comfortable, supported. You don't need to picture fur or claws or branches anymore. You can simply imagine the idea of the sloth, a life that does not push, a body that does not rush, a presence that belongs to stillness. That idea is enough, because what you are doing now is not learning facts. You are joining a rhythm, a slow rhythm that has been here long before you arrived, and will be here long after you fall asleep. The rainforest does not require your attention to keep going. It will breathe without you. It will drip without you. It will sway without you. And you, in return, are allowed to rest without monitoring the world. Inhale and feel the slow pulse of green enter gently. Exhale and let your body soften into it. If thoughts appear, let them appear like shadows in leaves, shapes that pass across the canopy and then fade. You don't need to follow them. You don't need to solve them. You can let them drift the way mist drifts, present, then thinning. Inhale, drifting. Exhale, thinning. There is a faint, lullaby-like humor in how steady the forest is. It keeps its rhythm without needing motivation. It doesn't talk itself into being calm. It simply stays calm, as if calm is the default setting. And perhaps in a quiet way, calm is your default setting too, under the noise, under the to-do lists, under the bright parts of the day. Tonight, you are returning to that default. Let your breathing remain gentle. Let your body remain heavy and supported. Let your mind become less interested in words, less interested in structure, more interested in drifting. The rainforest continues. The pulse continues. And you can continue drifting downward the way a leaf drifts down through layers of canopy, slowly, softly, until you don't feel the need to hold anything at all. Only the quiet pulse, only the steady night, only rest. In the deepest night, the rainforest becomes a place of quiet animals. Not quiet because nothing is there, but quiet because everything is settled into its own rhythm. Somewhere, a frog calls and then goes still again. Somewhere, an insect continues its steady note, like a thread that holds the night together. Somewhere, water slips from leaf to leaf, so softly it feels like it's trying not to wake the forest. And in that calm, your thoughts can become like those animals, present but quiet. A thought may appear, then settle. A memory may stir, then soften. A plan may float by, then fade. Nothing needs to be chased. Nothing needs to be held. Tonight, you can allow your thoughts to become less loud, less urgent, like animals that have found their resting places, and no longer need to move. Inhale and let your mind quiet. Exhale and let it quiet more. If you notice your mind trying to wake up again, trying to spark a new topic, trying to open a new loop, you can gently guide it back, not with force, but with repetition. Back to breath, back to heaviness, back to the feeling of being supported. Inhale, returning. Exhale, returning. The rainforest is full of hidden life, but hidden does not mean stressed. It means sheltered. It means tucked away in the right place at the right time. And that is the feeling we want for you now. Sheltered. Your bed is shelter. Your blanket is shelter. The darkness is shelter. Even the air, soft and steady, can feel like shelter. Somewhere above, the sloth remains the quietest animal of all, so settled it almost feels like part of the tree. And you can borrow that sense of being part of something stable. Stable breath, stable support, stable night. There's almost no need for words now. Words can become background, like distant water. You can let the sound of my voice be a soft, constant thing that you don't have to pay attention to, like the rainforest's chorus, always there, never demanding. Inhale, softly. Exhale, slowly. Let your jaw loosen again. Let your eyes rest deeper in their sockets, as if they are sinking into comfort. Let your shoulders spread out and melt into the bed. Let your hands fall open, as if they no longer need to hold anything. And if a thought arrives, let it arrive as a small animal might arrive at a leaf edge. Pause, look, then settle into stillness. No urgency, no chasing, just quiet. The rainforest continues to hold its gentle night rhythm. And you, held by your own quiet space, can continue drifting towards sleep until the boundary between thought and silence becomes thin, and the mind begins to rest the way the wild rests, present, soft, and calm. Sometimes rest happens in layers, not all at once, not like flipping a switch, more like sinking slowly through soft things. A little tension releases in the forehead, then a little more in the shoulders, then a little more in the chest. Then the belly softens, then the hands unclench, then the legs feel heavier, and each layer makes the next layer easier. This is how the rainforest settles too. The wind eases, the canopy sways less, the calls become more spaced out, the water sounds move farther into the background. The whole world becomes smoother, quieter, less interested in movement. Tonight, you can let yourself settle the same way, one layer at a time. If you notice any place that is still holding, maybe the space between your eyes, maybe the set of your jaw, maybe the curve of your shoulders, let that place loosen just a little, as if you're not releasing, but simply allowing. Inhale and allow. Exhale and allow more. We can return to the gentle motifs again, because repetition is soothing and you don't need new information. Water, leaves, breath, water. Leaves, breath. Let those words drift through your mind like soft shapes, barely forming, barely staying. The forest does not cling to a moment. It lets moments pass, and you can let moments pass too. If a thought tries to become a conversation in your head, you can let it become a whisper instead. If it tries to become a worry, you can let it become fog, present, but not solid. Inhale, fog. Exhale, fog thinning. There is no need to check whether you are sleepy enough. Sleep does not respond well to being measured. Sleep responds to being invited, and the invitation can be simple: softness, steadiness, repetition. Somewhere above, a sloth rests without evaluating its own rest. It doesn't ask, "Am I resting correctly?" It simply rests. Tonight you can do the same. Let your attention become less focused. Let it spread out like dim light through leaves. Let the edges of your thoughts blur. Let your breathing become quieter, slower, and perhaps even a little longer on the exhale, like a gentle letting go. Inhale, quietly. Exhale, even more quietly. The rainforest continues in the background, steady, calm, patient, and you can continue settling in layers until the last layer is reached without you noticing, and you realize you are no longer holding the day. You are no longer holding the listening. You are simply being carried by the night. Now the jungle is almost entirely a feeling, a soft darkness, a gentle humidity, a slow chorus that blends into the background until it becomes part of the silence. Leaves hang like quiet curtains. Fog drifts in thin strands, smoothing the space between branches. Moonlight is so filtered it feels like a memory of light rather than light itself. Somewhere, a sloth rests, completely unhurried, completely at home in stillness. And you don't need to follow any more thoughts. You don't need to hold any more words. You can let everything become simple. Breath arriving, breath leaving, body supported, mind quieting. If you are still awake, that is fine. If you are already drifting, that is also fine. Either way, there is nothing to do. The night is doing it for you. Inhale, softly. Exhale, softly. The rainforest has no need to explain itself. It simply continues, slow, steady, patient. And sleep is like that too. A natural continuation, a quiet return, a gentle belonging. So we let the story fade now. The way fog fades at the edges, the way a distant river sound becomes part of the dark. And we close with the final lines, unchanged, like a soft stamp at the end of a long, calm letter from the wild. Everything flows through the wild. Sleep in that motion.